If there's one thing I have learned since my return to doing reviews, it's to stop expecting things will improve, because it didn't work with Last Evolution Kizuna, and it absolutely didn't work with Volume 7 and 8 of RWBY. There's a reason why I never covered these two volumes back when they came out in 2019 and 2020, and it's because they're utter garbage. And now, in 2031, RWBY ended with a whimper instead of a bang, so since I don't need to worry about upcoming volumes, I might as well review the volumes that personally killed RWBY for me, rather than the volume with its official death. I could have gone with a pun for that sentence, but these volumes suck so much empathy out of me that I just want to get this off my chest and move on to stuff I enjoy/care about. So, what's the story? Well, Team RWBY goes to Atlas, and then thanks to their stupidity as well as bad writing, Atlas falls and destroys it and the city below it, as well as losing all the relics collected so far to Salem and then falling into a void of darkness. Oh, and we also find out Salem's plan. Divide humanity and get the 4 relics to bring back the gods and destroy Remnant, finally freeing her of her immortality curse. You know what? No, screw it. I'm not doing this under a normal style. What's the point? There's more effort and refinement than these volumes got in terms of their writing, regardless of if the Q used Monty's notes or not. The pacing is fucking terrible, the storytelling personifies round peg and square hole, and the writing is utterly poor here. And you know what? That's unacceptable for a team of writers who've not only written RWBY for years, but have also been writing professionally for a lot longer. One of which, Kiersey Bookhart, is a goddamn author/novelist. So what happened here? Why did RWBY lie to Ironwood, who's been nothing but helpful/an ally to them, despite the previous volume being against deceiving their allies and friends? Why bring back Penny when you kill her off a volume later?
Welcome to our club! Welcome to our club!
Why completely assassinate Ironwood's character and turn him into a complete monster, as well as making decisions that make no fucking sense in regards to what we know about his character? Why would he work with someone like Watts who tried to kill everyone in the previous volume? Why is Watts' hacking plan so full of holes it could be nicknamed Swiss cheese? Why make the main cast incredibly unlikable? Why make Crow team up with a known criminal who tried to kill him previously in order to take down someone who's been kind to him for a lot longer? Why kill characters off screen, such as in the finale to Volume 8? Why does Volume 8 have so many fucking villains, and why are all of them so incredibly flat? Why is Cinder's backstory utter shit from a pacing and narrative perspective? Should I go on? Because I can! The writing is so bad, I can easily make a list out of it. And I'm gonna elaborate on a few more in a bit. That's how much it bugs me. Now, these are issues I could have excused if they were just starting off in the writing industry and or were rookies, but they're not anymore. 2 of them have been writing for RWBY for a majority of the series now. They get paid to write this. Hell, like I said, one of the other writers is a fucking author who sells published work for a profit and has done so for years. They should be improving in their craft. But as shown with this list of issues and many others I haven't addressed yet, they're not. And that's a damn shame. Maybe it's because of the directors that these issues keep happening, but just because there's a reason doesn't mean I have to like it, and I don't here. This is incredibly frustrating to see happen again and again in this series, because Volume 7 and 8 aren't the only victims of bad writing. 4 and 5 also had this issue. Each volume should be getting better, not worse, but that's what's happening here. Alright. What else is wrong with the writing before I go on? Oh, right. What is the point of giving Penny the maiden powers in Volume 7 if Winter was going to get it the next volume anyways? Why not just cut out the middleman and give it to her in Volume 7? Because it'd be giving Ironwood what he wanted? I mean, Winter getting the power in 8 is giving him what he wanted anyways. And if she wanted to make her own destiny/path, she still could have done that in Volume 8 after getting her powers in 7. Was it done so that Penny wouldn't be a useless side character? I mean, you already have a decent amount of those in the main cast, specifically Crow and the remains of Juniper, so why not go all the way and add Penny to that club? At least to be consistent. Also, why did Penny give the powers to Winter and not her friend RWBY? She planned to give it to RWBY in a previous episode, so why not just do that? She doesn't know if RWBY's dead or not, it's just that she fell. Is it because of the Silver Eyes? Well, RWBY doesn't use them much in these 2 volumes, so what's the harm? Plus, that could be an interesting concept of having a silver-eyed warrior, but also a maiden. But no, let's give it to Winter, who's already going to get it in Volume 7, but the writers instead gave it to Penny in that, and then changed their minds a volume later.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so
I'm into it.
Also, this is an issue I just noticed, but why are the main powers so underwhelming here? Now that we have Cinder's flashback and Winter getting the powers as well as Penny using the maiden's abilities, yeah, all the powers basically do is slightly amp up their already existing abilities and open vaults. Or at least, that's what I initially thought. See, it turns out they can use whatever element they want, like when Amber used lightning against Cinder when they fought. But here's the thing, The use of other elements by the maidens is used so fucking sparingly in this series that I legit forgot it was a thing. If anything, this makes the use of the maiden powers worse, because here you have so much potential for attacks and movements and all this other shit, and you just rely on already existing semblances just slightly boosted. For fuck's sake, Penny could be using her swords to freeze things, or turn the molecules around her into solids, allowing her to shoot at enemies. I'm not mad because they didn't go with my ideas. I'm mad because what they ended up going with was just basically have their semblance getting stronger with no actual training. Seriously, what a fucking waste. Oh, and while on the topic of the maidens, I hate the idea that getting all 4 relics will bring back the 2 gods to Remnant. So unless RWBY basically unites all of humanity before getting all the relics, they lose. And if Salem gets all the relics, they lose. In addition, if Salem's goal is to get all 4 relics and destroy the world, and as we see in Volume 8, Ozpin/Oscar knows this, why doesn't he bring up the idea to Team RWBY to destroy one of them? Would it bring back the gods prematurely? Isn't it indestructible? No idea, because nobody brings up this idea. Sure, it means the loss of a relic, but it also means Salem also loses, since it requires all 4 of them. And if it doesn't mean the gods come back, then yeah, destroy it and you win! What the fuck is Salem gonna do, destroy humanity and then rot for all eternity? I don't think that's what she wants. Like, if you have the option, then take it, or at least discuss why it's a bad idea. So easy! This is also why this evil plan of Salem's is a problem, and not only has such a simple solution that is not even addressed, but it's also a lose-lose situation unless RWBY somehow redeems humanity enough to be spared. Anyways, what else have I got to bitch about? Oh, yeah, right, the soundtrack. The soundtrack of both volumes is terrible. Most of the songs aren't great in terms of composition, rhythm, or lyrics, and the only exception to this is Hero, because it sounds good in regards to its composition, rhythm, and lyrics, and it's easily the highlight of the soundtrack in both volumes. I feel so bad for Casey and Jeff Williams' talents being wasted in both 7 and 8 soundtrack. They're good vocalists/composers, so to see their great talents wasted on garbage like War, or Nevermore, or The Truth, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. But I digress. Oh, and speaking of sucking, the off-screen deaths of Penny, Watson Ironwood can suck my nuts. Oh, what's that? You may not have known Ironwood died? Well, yeah, all you had to do was head to Miles Luna's cameo page or the wiki to find out that information, because they don't say it in the show. Yeah, because screw telling our story in the main show. Let's tell this info in external shit like interviews and voice websites, especially for one of the characters treated as a fucking villain in 8. And I kid you not, they actually explained in a panel before Volume 8 came out that it was basically Ironwood's semblance that caused him to pull a 180 in terms of his character. I'm not kidding. Now I'm getting off track, so I think I'm just gonna wrap this up. I could elaborate further about how Ironwood was character assassinated, or how terrible the villains were in this volume, or how Hazel was wasted, or how the animation of fight scenes were a letdown, but, like I said, especially after all my ranting, it's not even fucking worth it. Especially in regards to a series that mostly let me down after Volume 3, and has only had one good volume in that time. That was 5 years of waiting, and I'm not getting any younger waiting for the show to get better, if it even does. If you had someone or something only give you a performance that is good 20% of the time, would you stick around if it wasn't a family member or something you worked on? For me, no. I would just move on and look for something else. Sure, it's tempting to bitch about how a later volume is crap, or is a huge letdown. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of that in Volume 9, but it gets tiring after a while, especially when I could use that time to enjoy something good. All the frustrating mistakes/issues these 2 volumes had are unacceptable for the RWBY at this stage in the show. They're supposed to be better than this, and I know I only scratched the surface when it comes to problems these 2 volumes have, and I'm sure there are plenty more issues that other people on the site have delved into much further. But at this rate, why should I bother delving deeper into it? The show is not getting any better. It's getting worse. And pointing out these issues isn't making me motivated to tear it apart. It's just making me feel sad and hollow towards this show. The passion I had for this show, it's gone. And it died a long time ago. So I can either keep soldiering on in a vain hope for it to get better, or I can finally accept that it's going down a path I can't follow and walk away. And I choose the latter. That's also why this isn't done in a traditional review that I normally do for this series. What's the point? Especially for getting this well detailed for a show that has sucked out so much empathy and passion. When Volume 1 came out back in the day, I was 19. I was just starting college, and I heard about this show from a colleague. It had so much potential, and it only got better and better as time went on, with Volume 3 still standing as my favorite volume of the series. But I'm not 19 anymore. I'm nearing my 40s, at least in this dimension. And all I see RWBY as now is a worn out, wasted husk. So you know what? In my mind, Team RWBY died down there in that void, and their world got destroyed. Because I am done with this show. I am not wasting any more time waiting for the show to get better. I am not wasting the remainder of my life going through the volumes I haven't even covered yet. I am finished with this series. But I know there are those who will proceed on, those who enjoy it. And to them I say, I hope you continue to enjoy the show. This may be the end of my journey with RWBY, but it doesn't have to be the end of yours. And if you disagree with what I said here, you have every right to disagree and call me out. In fact, I absolutely welcome it. I appreciate opposing opinions on something like this. So, yeah, this is the end of my RWBY journey. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck to those who will continue on with this series, especially those in other worlds where 2021 is a thing and will be receiving Volume 9 soon. And take care.